All right, let's talk about one of the biggest headaches in crypto today. I'm talking about Ethereum's absolutely epic traffic problem. We're going to dive right in. You know the feeling, right? If you've ever tried to make a transaction on Ethereum when things are busy, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You hit that send button, and then you just wait. And you watch those gas fees just climb and climb. It literally feels like you're stuck in bumper-to-bumper traffic on the highway. It's kind of ironic, isn't it? The very thing that makes Ethereum so amazing, its incredible popularity, is also its biggest problem. You've got so many people using the network for DeFi, for NFTs, for everything under the sun, and it just gets clogged. That congestion is what leads directly to those eye-watering gas fees and painfully slow transactions that drive us all a little crazy. But what if there was an express lane, a way to just zoom past all that traffic while still heading to the exact same place? Well, that's exactly what we're looking at today. It's time to meet the hero of our story, Polygon zkEVM. So what is this thing, really? Polygon zkEVM is what we call a Layer 2 scaling solution. Now, the easiest way to think about this is to picture Ethereum as the main highway. That's Layer 1. A Layer 2, like this one, is like a super fast multi-lane overpass built right on top of that highway. It takes a huge bunch of cars, or in our case, transactions, processes them super efficiently up on the overpass, and then merges the final result back down to the main highway. And the best part? It inherits all the rock-solid security of that main highway. Okay, this sounds great in theory, but how does it actually pull off this kind of speed? Well, the magic is right there in the name, ZK, which stands for zero knowledge. So let's pull back the curtain and see how the technology behind this express lane actually works. On a high level, the whole process is actually pretty straightforward. It's like a clever three-step dance. First, Polygon zkEVM grabs hundreds of individual transactions and bundles them all together, off of the main Ethereum chain. So instead of 100 different mail carriers, imagine putting all their packages into one giant delivery truck. Second, it creates this really cool cryptographic receipt called a zero-knowledge proof. This proof basically says, hey, I can 100% prove that all these transactions are legit without you having to look at every single one. And finally, it submits just that one single proof, that one delivery truck to the Ethereum mainnet. This saves a mind-boggling amount of space, time, and, you guessed it, gas fees. And this right here shows a massive advantage that Polygon zkEVM has over other types of layer 2s, like what we call optimistic rollups. With zkEVM, as soon as that proof hits the mainnet, those transactions are done. They are final, instantly. Other systems, they have this challenge period, which is basically a waiting game where transactions are just assumed to be valid, but someone could still dispute them. That instant finality, it's an absolute game changer for anything time-sensitive, like high-frequency trading in DeFi or trying to snag a popular NFT right when it drops. So we've seen how it works, but who does all this actually help? Well, the short answer is pretty much everybody in the entire Ethereum ecosystem. We're talking users, investors, and developers. It's a win all around. For you, for me, for anyone actually using or investing in this space, the benefits are immediate and, frankly, amazing. We're talking drastically lower gas fees, which means you can actually afford to use your favorite apps again. Transactions are way faster, so you're not sitting there staring at a pending screen. And because of the way it's designed, it works seamlessly with all the dApps you already know and love. It's the same Ethereum experience you're used to, just way, way better. Now, for the developers out there, this is where things get really, really good. Polygon zkEVM has what's called a full EVM compatibility. The EVM, the Ethereum Virtual Machine, is basically the operating system of Ethereum. It's the engine where all the code runs. Full compatibility means developers don't have to tear apart their code and start from scratch. They can literally take their existing app and just move it over to Polygon zkEVM with hardly any changes. This is huge for getting people to actually use the thing. And our source material really hits the nail on the head here. This easy migration path is, and I quote, a major win for adoption and interoperability. When you remove all that friction for developers, you make it a total no-brainer for projects to come over and give their users a much better, cheaper, and faster experience. But hold on, this isn't just a story about some cool new tech. It's also an economic story. This kind of upgrade has the power to be a massive catalyst for the entire Polygon ecosystem. Here's something really important to get. When you make a network this much cheaper and faster, you don't just make old things better. You make completely new things possible. Think about a fully on-chain video game with thousands of NFT items that you can trade instantly with no lag. Or maybe a decentralized social media site where every like is a tiny, frictionless transaction. These are the kinds of ideas that were just too expensive and clunky to even try before. This tech unlocks all that creative potential. And that's what kicks off this powerful economic chain reaction. It's pretty logical. More dApps or decentralized apps move over to get all these awesome benefits. That brings more users with them. And to use these apps, what do they need? They need the network's native token, Matic, to pay for those tiny little gas fees. This surge in activity and demand for Matic naturally strengthens the long-term value of the entire Polygon network. Which really brings us to the big final question. For years, the dream of Ethereum has been this idea of a decentralized world computer, right? But that dream has always been held back by these scaling problems. Solutions like Polygon zkEVM are designed to shatter that ceiling. So the question we're left with is this. Is this technology the key? Is this what will finally unlock Ethereum's true world-changing potential? Only time will tell, but it's definitely exciting to watch. Thanks for joining.